Good afternoon. Welcome to Embedded Systems. In this course, we will learn what is embedded system, different types of embedded systems, how to design embedded system for desired applications. So, what is embedded system? Embedded system is electronic or electromechanical system. It is designed to perform a specific task, which is combination of both hardware and software. So embedded system is electronic or electromechanical system which is designed to perform a specific task, and it is combination of both hardware and software. Embedded system sometimes is purely electronic system, other times it may have electronic components like motors, actuators, valves, etc. That's why it is also called electromechanical systems, or it is electronic system. It is both electronic or electromechanical system. And embedded system cannot perform different tasks. Same system cannot perform different tasks. For example, the system which is designed for refrigerator cannot be used in washing machine, and vice versa. And it is combination of hardware and software. It has electronic components, which is hardware, and mechanical components also, like motors and actuators, and it needs software. Without software, hardware alone is useless. So that is embedded system. So embedded system is electromechanical system which does a specific task, which is having both hardware and software. This is the block diagram of embedded system, and in the center box here, it is labeled microcontroller. Microcontroller is the heart of embedded system. We know microprocessor, but this is new term, microcontroller. The difference between microcontroller and microprocessor is microprocessor contains CPU, central processing unit, right? Whereas microcontroller is equal to CPU plus and these other peripherals like RAM, ROM, EEPROM, and serial communication peripherals, UART, SPI, I2C. So microcontroller is microprocessor plus all these peripherals, RAM, ROM, EEPROM, and serial communication peripherals. So this microprocessor and other peripherals constitute microcontroller. Microcontroller is the heart of embedded system. And if we add input devices and also output devices along with the power supply, that becomes embedded system, and it does some useful task. Let's see what are the input components. Input components include, input devices include keypad, sensors, switches. These are some of the input devices, and these are the output devices. Displays. The final result will be displayed in these displays. Solenoid, if we need mechanical action to be taken place, that can be done through these solenoids. Motors, the same thing. Solenoids produces a linear mechanical action, whereas motors they give us rotational mechanical energy. And sometimes if this embedded system wants to communicate with other embedded systems or with a computer, then that communication can take can take place through this communication protocols. It may be serial or wireless communication. Serial communication protocols include USB, UART, SPI, I2C, and wireless communication protocols, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So this is a simple block diagram of embedded system. Generally, this embedded system, it takes the data from external world to these sensors, and it processes the data in the microcontroller through a program, and it produces output. That output may be expressed in one of these, either in displays or in solenoids or in motors or actuators and so on. We can feed data to the microcontroller from other embedded systems or from computer through this communication protocols, through this serial communication protocols. Let's see some of the sensors, varieties of sensors we have. We have variety of sensors like temperature sensor, proximity sensor, accelerometer, IR sensors, pressure sensor, light sensor, ultrasonic, smoke, gas, and alcohol sensor. Not only this, there are many other sensors. Let's see, temperature sensor, it senses the temperature and the data is fed to the microcontroller. Let's take some example. If you want to maintain temperature of oven at particular value, let's say 200 degrees centigrade. Now what we do is, we place this temperature sensor, we fix this temperature sensor inside the oven, or very close to the oven. Generally inside the oven, and this temperature sensor continuously gives electrical signal to the microcontroller. That generally it is analog value, analog voltage value. In the microcontroller, we convert that analog voltage into digital by using digital to analog converter, and we know that value. And after knowing temperature value, we process that data in the microcontroller, and we compare that temperature with the threshold, whether the temperature sensor value is it less than 200 degrees centigrade. If it is less than 200 degrees centigrade, we generate control signal to the heater, so that heating system continue to heat the oven. If temperature goes above 200 degrees centigrade, which is sensed by the temperature sensor, then we generate control systems to turn off the heater. That's how we maintain the oven temperature at a desired value. That is how we can use temperature sensor. And proximity sensor. By using this proximity sensor, we detect nearby objects without physically touching them. And accelerometer. This sensor, by using this sensor, one can determine the displacement or any change in the movement in x direction, y direction, and also in z directions. We have accelerometers in two-dimensional accelerometers and also XYZ accelerometers. IR sensors are they are also called infrared sensors. We use infrared light to sense objects. Pressure sensors. These sensors are used to detect the pressure within a closed surface, within a closed thing. Light sensors. These light sensors, we can detect amount of light, sunlight, by using light sensors. This can be used in street light controllers, etc. Ultrasonic sensors. These ultrasonic sensors, they make use of audio waves which are not audible to human, and they transmit them. If there is any obstacle, they come back and reaches the receiver. If there is no obstacle, they won't come back. So this ultrasonic sensor, also by using this ultrasonic sensor, we can identify the objects and also how far they are from the this sensor. Okay, not only we can detect them, and also how far they are from this sensor, ultrasonic sensor. For this, they make use of sound waves and smoke sensors, gas and alcoholic sensors. These are some of the sensors that are generally used in embedded systems. In this picture, we can see different sensors with pictures. It is soil moisture sensor. It is ultrasonic sensor. And this is thermistor. It is a temperature sensor. LDR, light dependent resistor. And it is proximity sensor. A smoke sensor, a gas sensor. The smoke, gas and alcoholic sensors, they work in the same way. It is alcoholic sensor. Color sensor. It is a temperature sensor. It looks like a transistor, but it is a temperature sensor, LM35. It is popular temperature sensor. It is heartbeat sensor, and it looks like a clip, and we have to put your finger here, and it measures the heartbeat. It is the rain sensor, and we place this rain sensor in the field. When there is a rain or water, then there is a closed connection, and thereby we can detect whether there is a rain or not. It is a proximity sensor, which is also called PAR sensor. And there is IR receiver. It is a water flow sensor. We can detect water flow by using this sensor. And it is a gyroscope or gyroscope. It is used to detect the direction. And phototransistor, it senses the light. It is basically light dependent resistor, but it amplifies also. This LDR is a passive device, whereas this phototransistor is a active device. It not only senses the light, it amplifies that signal also. There is humidity sensor and touch sensor. Is IR sensor, which is receiver. It is IR sensor, transmitter. So these are the different types of sensors which are generally used in the embedded system depending on the application. Now, another type of input device called keypad. We can use switches, normal push buttons, as input devices. Sometimes they are not enough. In security systems, we need to give password as input. In that case, Push buttons are not enough. We need something like keypads. In this keypad, we can see there are numbers 1, 2, 3 up to 9, and also some characters A, B, C, D, and some characters. So by using this keypad, by interfacing this keypad with the microcontroller, we can we can input numbers and also characters, some characters. This is another type of input device. And these are the displays, output devices. Here, this is called touch display. Touch display is both input device and also output device. By touching anywhere on this screen, we give input to the microcontroller, and that microcontroller responds to these inputs and takes some action, take some decision, and it is reflected in the output screen. It is both input screen and also output screen. These are the touch displays. These are very popular these days. And below we have LCD display. This is LCD display. It is not a touch display. You can see only characters on this display. You can see some characters A, B, C, D, and numbers also. Here it is purely output display, output device. Through this display, we cannot give input. And there are 2-line LCD displays and 4-line LCD displays available. So these are the popular displays. Not only this, we have LEDs also. We can use LEDs to show the output. If the output is either high or low, that can be easily shown in LEDs. And these are the other types of output devices called relays, actuators, and motors. And these are relays. Relays are nothing but electromechanical devices which are generally used to control heavy load. For example, if you want to turn on or turn off a weak load, that is LED, let's say LED, that can be done directly or by using a transistor. If I want to control LED, high or low, that can be done by using a transistor, or that LED can be directly connected to the microcontroller. But that is not the case if you want to control motor. If you want to turn on or turn off the motor, then we cannot use a simple small transistor. We have to use relay. So relays are basically used to drive heavy loads. These relays are controlled by the microcontroller. Some set of pins are connected to the microcontroller. Other set of pins are connected to AC power supply and to the load like motor. And these are the actuators. If you want to move a robot arm, for example, if you want to move a robot arm either up or down or left or right, then we need something called actuators. These are basically motors. They move in forward direction, clockwise direction, or anti-clockwise direction. By connecting robot arm to this shaft, we can, with the gears, we can move the arm in any direction. These are the actuators. And we have other types of mechanical devices called DC motors or stepper motors. Sometimes we need more, we need spinning action, rotatory mechanical energy, then we use DC motors. Some other times we need to control the position precisely. Okay, we are interested in maintaining, let's say, antenna position. Okay, or in the hard drives, okay, we need to maintain the position of the transmitter precisely, or position of the disk. Okay, position of the disk. There we use stepper motors. These stepper motors are used in hard drives where disk is there to store the data. There we use the stepper motors, and also in antennas. Okay, antennas. If you orient the antenna in certain way, then only we will get signal. If you orient the antenna, if you change the direction of the antenna slightly, then we don't get the signal. So in this case, the angle of the antenna is important. Okay, in those places we use stepper motor. We use stepper motor. In other cases, if it is just a DC motor, if it is just we need spinning action, then we use DC motors. And also by using embedded system, or by using microcontrollers, not only we turn on or turn off the DC motor, we can also control the speed of the DC motor. We can also control the speed of the DC motor. So these are the electromechanical components. This is a relay which is used to control heavy load. For example, big motor. In those cases, we cannot use transistors, small transistors. For that, we have to use relay. And these are the actuators, and these actuators are generally used to move the robot arm. If you want to control the robot arm, we can use these actuators. Or if you want to control the valve, closing the valve and also opening the valve, there also we use this type of actuators. Okay, whenever we need a linear motion or circular motion, we can use these actuators. Linear motion generally. And DC motors and stepper motors. Stepper motors are used where precise position is needed. Okay. Our next concept is host and target concepts. Host and target concepts. Generally, embedded systems are very small in size, and it may not have any, it doesn't have a keyboard or a big memory to run a editor. Okay, embedded system is, heart of the embedded system is a microcontroller. In the microcontroller only, the program executes. The program executes. It is a 1 KB program or 10 KB program, machine level program executes in the microcontroller. And microcontroller itself doesn't have any keyboard. Now the question is how to create program in the microcontroller. Can we create program directly in the microcontroller? It is not that easy because that microcontroller doesn't have any keyboard. Okay, and also it doesn't have sufficient memory to run some editor applications. Editor applications means we have Turbo C in the blue screen. You are familiar with the blue screen where we type the program, and that program is converted into machine code by using compilers, right? That much memory space is not available in the microcontrollers. So what we can do is we we run editor programs and compilers and all those things in the computer, normal computer, desktop computer or laptop computer called host computer. This is called host computer. This is called host computer. In this host computer, we run applications. We run editor tools, debugging tools, and compiler tools, interpreter tools, and all those things in the host computer. In this host computer, we have so much of memory, and it also has a keyboard here. Keyboard. We can type the program in the host computer in the editor window, editor application. And after typing the whole program, we can debug the program and convert that into machine code. Generally, we create the program in the high-level language. High-level language. High-level language means it is a simple English text, but we cannot directly transfer that into microcontroller. This is the microcontroller. This box here, it is the microcontroller. This microcontroller doesn't understand that high-level language, which is written generally in English. So what we do is, but for humans, it is very easy to write the programs in high-level language than writing directly in the machine code. Machine code means ones and zeros. We cannot write that easily the program in machine code. So we begin with high-level language program, where we write that high-level language programs in the editor. This editor application is run in the host computer. After after writing the program and compiling it and debugging it, and finally converting that into machine code. That machine code is transferred to this embedded microcontroller. That machine code is transferred into that embedded microcontroller through some communication protocols like UART or USB or I2C or SPI, etc. Finally, we upload the program into the embedded system. Finally, we upload the program into the microcontroller, which is part of the embedded system. Now, once it is done, then you can take away this target device called a microcontroller from the host computer, and then you can work it freely. You can work it and you can execute that program anywhere. Once the program is uploaded into the embedded system, then we don't need this host computer anymore. It can freely run anywhere. So that is a target embedded system. So we cannot write programs directly into the microcontroller. It is very tough, hard. So we need host computer for that. Host computer is normal computer, a desktop or laptop computer, in which we run these small applications, in which we run these editor applications, for example, Turbo C or Arduino IDE or MATLAB IDE or Code Compose Studio. These are the integrated development environments. By running these environments, and in the editor window, we type all the program and we convert that into machine code, and we transfer that machine code into the microcontroller. And once that code is uploaded, this microcontroller can be executed, can be used freely. Then we don't need this host computer anymore. We need this host computer to develop the program, to edit the program, and to convert the program into machine level language. So this is the concept of host and target. So these are the different things that we have learned in this session. So let's take short revision. So what is embedded system? Embedded system is electronic system or electromechanical system which is designed to perform a specific task. It cannot do many tasks like a general purpose computer. In general purpose computers, we can run many applications, 3 or 4 or 5 applications at the same time. Like in the normal computer, we can listen to the songs, we can open Word and we can type something, and we can open some other software and we can run that software. So in general purpose computers, we can run many things at the same time. This is not the case with embedded system. Only one application can be executed at any given time. If you want to execute some other application, we have to take away the old software and we have to upload the new software. That is the thing. It is a combination of both hardware and software. And this is the block diagram of embedded system. It has a microcontroller, which is a microprocessor plus these peripherals: RAM, ROM, EEPROM, USB, UART, I2C, SPI. Along with this, it has input devices to get the data from the outside world, and it has output devices to express these outputs either in the display or mechanically by using the solenoids and motors. So these are some sensors, popularly widely used sensors in the embedded systems: temperature sensor, proximity sensor, accelerometer, IR sensor, pressure sensor, light sensor, ultrasonic, and other sensors. And this is the keypad. By using this keypad, we can input